Okay, in this part I want to go through how we're going to create the lighting for this scene. We're going to go through a number of different types of lights. Let's delete these ones I've already made there. Let's just have a look at what we've got. So we can go in the Arnold kind of tool shelf here, and let's just have a look through like the very basic lights. So this is what we can use. Just have a quick get a quick render out and see how materials kind of looking that we've made. So I'm just going to come along here and click this little play button. So this is like we call it like an IPR render. So it's like a constant render that's going on in the background. So you see as I move around, it just kind of renders, and it's like it's a progressive render, Arnold. The longer you leave it, the kind of more it kind of fills in the shading. But it's quite nice if you're doing some tests. You can just quickly get some results and see roughly what it's going to look like. So you can see where shadows are going and things like that. And you can see just kind of how the colours are looking and how it's seen. So it's looking okay. It's quite a flat lighting, nice diffuse lighting. What I mean by diffuse is it's just kind of flat shaded. There's not really any highlights, any direct lighting. Basically, this dome light that we've used here. So I think we call it a dome light, or maybe just sky dome. We call it. Yeah, AI sky dome light fires infinite rays in from all angles around. So it's a bit like global lighting. So just hit pause there. So this kind of thing does start to take its toll on the computer. It's constantly running, so just try not to have it running all the time if you're making big changes. So that's, I'll just stop and start for a bit. The next thing I'm going to do is notice how there's a white background here. I want that. So I'll just come into the attribute editor of the dome light with it selected. Come down, we've got some visibility things here. I'll talk about a few more of these later, but if I just bring that down, just play pause again. So I've got an alpha channel now. So when we export this image, we can put whatever background behind we want. So just pause that again. Just run through this one here. So the indirect lighting, so this kind of adds more bounces from the light. So as a result of increasing this, we'll get quite a lot more colour bleeding. And let's just see if I can show you that. So let's just pump it to 5, see what we get. And now the first thing you'll notice is you get, as the lights about the rays are bouncing around, they're kind of picking up light and taking on kind of bits of colour, and it's bouncing onto the wall. So this can add quite a bit of realism, but if it's just used in a minimal way, it can get a bit too much. It makes things look really reflective when maybe they're not. And you get like kind of almost like a glow around the carpet here and things like that. So maybe it's supposed to be like 3 or something, because let's just show you that. It looks like I'm bringing the intensity of the light, but I'm actually not. I'm just increasing the amount of bounces it's doing. Just bear that in mind. Play around a bit. Transmission, it's more to do with transparency. These are kind of more sort of sample-based stuff. But the only one I'd really move is the indirect light. And there's the stuff you've got in intensity as well, so that's the difference there. So we do raise the intensity, that's what we get. Exposure works in a similar way, but it's more of a exposure works more in like a realistic way. We've also got some samples that get rid of a bit of this noise that you can see here. When I'm talking about, I'll be talking about noise quite a bit when I'm doing this task. And when I mention noise, it is this kind of dotted shading. Most of the time, Arnold does a good job of smoothing that out. Just give it a pause there. So I'm actually going to start with get rid of this drawing line for now. And I'm going to start looking at the area lights. So this first light here is the AI area light. Another. So let me just put it in place. Now just kind of set the next render off and see nothing's happened, so we're actually bring the exposure up. So as I bring that exposure up, start to get a nice light. Okay. So I'm imagining here there is going to be a bit of light coming in from like a window or something that we don't see off camera. But I'm just going to keep it quite subtle as if it's not a bit of a overcast day. No kind of direct sunlight coming in. It's quite a dingy little lobby. It's often portrayed as in the show. It's like a run down type building, so it's not like it doesn't have much natural light coming in. So let's have a look. We're pausing in there, and we'll place a few more lights in. So it's quite nice to just do one light at a time so you can see what effect it's all having rather than just place them all and push and go, see what happens. So I could even hide that one for now. So I just press Control H to hide the light. Now I want to do a little light inside this little lampshade here. So Maya has a number of lights as well. It's got an ambient directional point spot area as well. These are like the classic Maya lights. And what I want to show you is the point light. Just press F on the keyboard there to zoom in. I'm just going to place this inside the latching. You can choose which camera you want to render through actually, so for example. Just click render there. So now in perspective I can move around without moving the camera, so that's good. So I might just pin my renderer there just next to the outline, so got a bit of room. It always helps to go second screen for this, but so originally you would use these settings here for classic Maya stuff, but because we're working within Arnold, there's a little tab for Arnold settings here. And what we can do is turn on things like color temperature. So color temperature is, so each light has temperature. So you might notice in your house you've got really bright white lights or kind of warmer kind of cozier lamps and stuff. So basically, let me just demonstrate. Just bump up the exposure there. So the higher the temperature, the whiter the light is, more like a blue kind of. This is the sort of stuff you get in like office buildings and maybe those strip lights in the kitchen and stuff like that. Whereas if you bring it lower, you get that warm kind of classic light bulb light. Maybe not like a less modern one, not like a LED or something like that. So it's a bit more warmth in it. So I think I'm going to go with something like that, and you get kind of like a nice colour. You can actually add whatever colour you want into the light colour. For example, might have overridden it. Yeah, so I'll have to turn off the colour temperature to override it because I prefer. So if you're making it into like a spooky, haunted, Halloween themed thing, use that instead. I'm going to go for this natural colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at my lampshade as well. Look at the transmission. See, this affects how much light is getting let out as well. How transparent it is. The depth and the scatter, so you can just see what effect they have on the transmission. So as you can see, this light on its own doesn't really light the kind of the room that well. Let's just select that area light again. Go for a few more of the sound samples. So again, we can have some indirect. Play on the settings of it. Depending on how good your graphics card is for this, is how fast you render. You kind of calculate this and how many samples you're actually giving it. I'll talk a bit more about this in a minute. But by default, these are a bit lower while you're testing, and also the image size. I'll talk a bit about them when you're doing final render to get the best quality. For now, it's all about lighting. You can see it as it progresses through, it just works its way. Cool. I'll just leave that there. What kind of rendering? That's how I would add like a little light bulb type thing in the corner. Moving on, I imagine there is some kind of light fixture, like a main light in the room around on the roof somewhere. Hanging out the roof. So I'm going to add maybe. I'm going to use a spotlight for this. So I've got a spotlight here. Like that. Now there are realistic ways you can use lighting in Maya, but this is a lot of the time it's a time to be creative, and sometimes having a realistic lighting doesn't actually kind of help tell the story in animation, or in film, in fact. For example, on any film set, they've often got extra lights on there to kind of enhance, even if it's on the characters, the actors, and things like that, to kind of help tell the story and create a mood. So they're not always just going for realistic kind of true lighting. So let's start another IPR. I'm going to turn the colour temperature on again and just lift the exposure of this light. So what we get here is a spotlight. So at the minute it's as if it's like a stage lighting at the minute. That's really kind of sharp circular light there. So there's a few settings in here that we can change. We've got the radius. Doesn't really affect too much. I think it's more the original settings. So we've got the cone angle. So we can just do the spread, and the penumbra angle, which is how soft this kind of shadow is, and a drop-off works quite similar as well, a little bit more extreme. So let's have a look at the penumbra. More of a natural light there. So I quite like that. Just it's the main light in the room, so I would have thought it would light up the room quite a bit. See if you can add a few more bounces in here. Quite like the bounce actually. It's all just kind of tweaking the settings, and just as long as you're aware of the stuff you can tweak, and in the right direction. So let's put the exposure a bit more. Start to get an idea of how the room's going to be lit up now. If there's a particular part you're trying to light in the shot, we've got this little tool here where you can click it and draw a little box around the area you just want to concentrate on, so it's not rendering the whole scene over and over. It's starting to look quite nice and dingy. I might drop down the temperature of the light. A bit less. If you are doing a particular room, you can often get this number on the back of the box of the light bulbs you're using, so you can see what actually colour temperature. And there's temperature charts online you can kind of cross-reference and go for. So things like sunlight, daylight, fluorescent bulbs. There's kind of information out there on the internet. Just do a quick Google search of what this number should be. Okay, so it's quite nice. So that took 42 seconds to render that. So just point out there's a render time down here. Tells you what the render settings and samples are as well. And you can click this little camera to take a little snapshot, so you can compare previous renders. So I'm getting a bit of noise up here, as I was saying earlier. So next I want to with the lighting on this going up the stairs. So I'm actually duplicate this light here, bring it up in the stairs. That way I'm getting this little kind of glow up the stairs. As if there's like a light bulb up there. Don't want to go too high, but that's good. I really like that actually, it's got a nice soft. I'll just duplicate this light again. Bring in these stairs. Notice how I'm just putting it there, just so I know. Doesn't have to look at anything special, I might just bring it down. I just want it to be a touch, just to suggest and just kind of make it more obvious what that is. Now I'll stop this video there because I'm kind of getting there now. I feel like I might just bring up the explosion on the more light again. Just a bit more. So I'm going to stop the video there, and in the final class we'll be looking at the render settings, doing our final renders, cleaning up all this sampling and get the best render time we can.